The MAGA supporters are actually regretting their votes again. This is despite everybody, warning them. I want you to watch these videos and tell me what you think about them. Do MAGAs really deserve sympathy? Or they are getting what they voted for?
So I admit, I regret my vote for Donald Trump. I regret it because I needed these changes sooner. I needed the prices to go down sooner so that I didn't drain out my bank accounts and go into crippling credit card debt, so that when I had an emergency, I had money set aside. So when my son's glasses break, I could actually get him new ones. I can't do any of that right now. My car broke down, and so I'm in a friend's car just to work, to continue living paycheck to paycheck. I knew it was going to be hard, and that it wasn't going to come fast. I just wish that things would work out better. I really regret that everything is taking so long, because there's so much pushback, because I don't even know the reasons anymore. I don't understand why good things have to be trampled on. I don't know why good people have to be trampled on. I don't want a lot. I just want to be comfortable. I just want to not live paycheck to paycheck. I just want to be able to live and work. I work 7 days a week to not even make ends meet sometimes, and my car broke down, and I have a few $1,000s worth of repairs to do on it. My son's glasses broke, and I can't even take him to the eye doctor. I just want to get past the hard part. I want to get to the part where it's not just crippling. I know he's working on it. I know that it's gonna get better, and that it wouldn't have been any better with anybody else. I just really needed things to start working again. They're still not. I mean, I owe more in taxes this year, which is just more debt that I can't pay. And I have to pay. It's just another $100 or so a month that I can't afford.
So the main reasons that MAGA are regretting their votes, number one, is the direct and personal economic impact. So many MAGA supporters are facing immediate consequence of voting for Trump's, or immediate consequence from voting policies, Trump's policies, decisions such as freeze on federal grants and loans, which has impacted churches, small businesses, and even individuals reliant on federal aid.
Congratulations, MAGA. Your vote for Trump is the reason why senior citizens will be kicked out of their nursing homes. Before you flood my comment section screaming fake news, I'm going to provide some verifiable facts. Google's free. You can go look at the bill. 60% of nursing home residents rely on Medicaid to cover their care. That is a fact. And Trump's new tax plan It cuts the provider tax by 41%. This slashes how much support states receive from the government for nursing homes. That's a 41% funding cut. That is a fact. The American Healthcare Association says that 1 in 4 nursing homes could shut down and half of their staff will be eliminated. That's a fact. So where do these senior citizens go? Some might have family to take them in, but for others, this is the end of the road. There's no place for them to go. This is what your vote for Trump is doing. It's pushing vulnerable seniors out of care and onto the streets. And that is a fact. This isn't America first. This is our elderly last. If you voted for Trump, you made this happen. I hate to say it. This is on you.
Could you talk about the disillusionment with the specific policies? So immigration policies have backfired from supporters. April Matson fired from Baidado after making offensive comment about migrants is a case in point illustrating how Trump supporters or Trump policies can lead to personal consequences. Foreign policies, particularly Trump's announcement to take over Gaza, has caused many supporters to question their vote. A BuzzFeed article quoted a supporter saying, "Every time you think you got president that cares about America and ending the endless war in the Middle East, another one comes and starts something else." So we all know Trump campaigned with the promise of actually focusing on American first. But what has been done so far is not short of American first. Trump has been involved in matters that doesn't affect American, that doesn't align with his policies. Whether it's Trump deporting off the good immigrants, alienating allies, crushing tourism, levying counterproductive tariffs, slashing critical federal jobs, covering up the Epstein files, or just his incessant winning. Many MAGA supporters are beginning to regret their votes. Then I think he has shown a very beautiful picture of a MAGA heart burning with the caption, "That's not what I voted for." Yes, it is. So this it's expected to be a reaction from non-MAGA who feel like that's what this guy really voted for, you know. And Trump policies are also affecting, you know what, they're also affecting many states. You know, with Reuters reporting, Trump administration sued by U.S. state for cutting disaster prevention grants. So this is an article that was run today, and the states are suing Donald Trump for cutting grants. So we will see this is a direct consequence of what happened to Texas, and what is showing the Americans, you know, America or Trump, inappropriateness, preparedness, you know, lack of preparedness to actually tackle disasters. The article say FEMA, part of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, has come under scrutiny for its response to deadly floods in Texas earlier this month, which has put renewed focus on the administration moves to shrink or abolish the agency. Then it quotes, by unilaterally shutting down FEMA flagship disaster mitigation program, defenders have acted unlawfully and violated core separation of powers principles, say the states led by Washington and Massachusetts. The Republicans, one of the policy is shrinking government expenditures. So I think they're trying to pull everything towards the federal government, and this was not actually what is happening. So in the events of cost cutting, they were planning to defund FEMA. So when FEMA announced the termination of the program in April, the agency said it has been wasteful, ineffective, and politicized. Listen, until disaster strike. A bipartisan group of lawmakers in May urged FEMA to reinstate the grants, saying they were particularly crucial for rural and tribal communities and work with Congress to make program more efficient. The state, in their lawsuit, say the Congress made mitigation future disaster a core function of FEMA and U.S. Constitution, and federal law bar the Trump administration from altering the agency mission without making without working with the lawmakers. So we all know Trump is fond of actually delivering executive orders to trying to actually make things work in his way. And we all saw what happened to Texas when the flood hit. It was actually, it forced Mexican to see the country that has been taming them, the countries that are having a political fight with them, to actually, out of their mercy, come and rescue some of, and operate or do operation, rescue operation. And I generally think Claudia was somewhere, laughing, And things are not okay. There's some polls that were taken to actually check if Trump is really, people are likely, they're okay with them, after all the saga of all the Epstein file, all the what. So take a look at Trump's net approval rating on immigration. A lot of focus on, so a Gallup at 25, Trump had approval rating of minus 27. That was so horrible. At Quinnipiac University, Trump had approval rating of minus 16. That is awful, they post. Then Marist is bad at minus 9 approval rating, and Ipsos is at minus 8. Even Fox, the Bay, had a minus 7 approval rating, which is bad. So bad, just downright terrible. The American people have turned against Trump on what was his best issue. And somebody said, replied, MAGA has turned on Trump because he went back on his main issue. He promised to deport all illegal aliens. He's allowing illegal farmers workers and hotel workers to be exempted from deportation and being given fast-track visas so they can stay and work and have a path to citizenship. I don't see how Republicans survive the midterm with this. Then I saw somewhere a person say they are gonna not lose, the Republicans or the MAGA, they're going to lose a midterm election and they're going to lose in 2028.
The Trump administration has begun its plan to shut down the Department of Education, and the Supreme Court has essentially now given them the green light. So what does this all mean? The Supreme Court is allowing the Trump administration to proceed with massive layoffs. The Department of Education, they started this year with 4,100 workers. That will now be cut in half.
Then someone said a campaign slogan, MAGA is weaker than it was. Trump, in his defense, typically for a politician, delivered a good thing, but less than campaign promise. So many MAGA hope that Trump was secretly more radical than his campaign persona, that he will over-deliver on the promise. So what was, Trump main campaigning agendas? The Trump, I think, is either over delivering or not doing. Then I think there's this one MAGA supporters who actually wrote, and I want you to listen. So he actually talking about the issue of Epstein files, which is now most of the biggest case in United States of America, actually hitting many of headlines. So he's saying, this person is called Mez, of which handle is at Mesmo. Say, if I were Dan Bogino, I will resign immediately. I wouldn't make it a choice between myself and Pam Bondi. By now, it should be clear to him that the job is all downside, no upside. The FBI reputation has also been destroyed over the past couple of decades, that there isn't anything that anybody is going to do aside from closing down the entire FBI, which isn't going to happen. That's going to fix it. There's also isn't anything that is going to be released regarding Epstein that is going to satisfy the mob. The FBI could lock up every child trafficker in the world, and there will still people calling for resignation because they didn't release the list. As if some list is sitting on the FBI headquarters. But they say there is list. Speaking and posting about Epstein is a great for engagement. It's also take away for Trump haters to attack his administration. A few years ago, CNN was doing segment on MAGA thinks there's an Epstein conspiracy. Now CNN is running a segment on what Trump is hiding. A few nights ago, Jack Tapper, a man who previously berated Aaron Rodgers for his Epstein conspiracy theories, declared that Trump is lying to everyone about Epstein. Even the Democrats are now faking interest in the Epstein saga. They are not faking, actually. They want to know everything. So, I think the main reason, Trump was defunding Department of Education, I think because he likes, uneducated MAGA. He likes uneducated people. And this is one of the cases. Let's continue. A conspiracy theories about Epstein is a guarantee to get a ton of engagement. Epstein was CIA. Epstein was Mossad. Epstein is really dead. Check the earlobes. I care about the Epstein victim? No, you don't. You didn't say or post anything about Epstein victim even once over the past 6 years. But it's not how you just needed something to post. Okay, I don't think what the really problem is, these guys, they campaigned and they promised to give their file. So what's wrong with Americans demanding what they were promised? We've all seen all the MAGA influencers. They're very against it. Then a person said, we regret voting for Trump because of his shameless support for Israel genocides of the Palestinian people. We regret it because it doesn't have backbone we thought he had. And the final straw, Epstein cover-up, which is like everything else, points straight to Mossad, Deep State and Israel. Also, I didn't read the entire novel you wrote up there because, you know what, he didn't read because I think people are tired of MAGA shenanigans. And this was one of the best people to actually, prove that. Yahoo News posted, today in regret, MAGA diehards learn their votes have consequence. And from that headline, the key takeaways I could take from. So President Trump administration abruptly halted federal grants, loans, causing backlash from his MAGA base. But the executive order has rescinded shortly after federal judge temporarily blocked it. At least the federal government is trying to do something that Africans or the Americans really wanted. Another key takeaway, MAGA supporters are starting to regret their votes as they realize the detrimental impact of Trump policies, from separating families at the border to cutting social safety nets and federal programs. Another key point, individuals across various platforms, including TikTok and Reddit, are sharing stories on how Trump policies such as freezing federal funding, student loans, are directly affecting their lives and livelihood. So, here it's read, between his desire to slash federal budget and the mass deportation, he already has underway. Many MAGA supporters were still in Trump's corner until some began to realize how detrimental his policies could be to their lives. So let's talk about the job cuts. Let's talk about the cuts to Medicaid. Let's talk about the cuts to, insurance, health insurance. And there's some quotes, And there's this person called April Matson say, I was fired, was fired from her job in Bidabo, a global remarketing company based in Kent, Washington, after making offensive comments about migrants being separated from their family because of Trump's new policies. Trump threatened to actually, deport anybody that's anybody that's acting as opposing his, policies. Also, what happened in California, where actually even a minor worker lost his life because Trump pulled a lot of ICE agents to go and use force, unnecessary force. People are tear gassed. Families are separated. You've seen videos where actually people, even in child care, they are pulled out and deported. This Trump voter Lucia decrying Trump new federal funding policy that will take away take away food stamps and WIC, writing that the MAGA leader is only fighting for billionaires. She later posted that she's an elderly woman and will be impacted by losing food stamp if Trump freezes federal fundings. Someone from conservative posted on Reddit complaining that the churches they work for have about $1 million in projects between all the churches through federal grants, and they won't be able to pay the bills if the federal grants money doesn't come now that Trump has instituted the funding freeze. He even wrote, my parents are a conservative and own a business whose sole purpose in writing federal grants. The entire income is now completely gone because of Trump. The lopers are having absolutely feast. When the Guardian went ahead and gave a very good headline, why do Trump voters have no regrets? Because the people they hate are getting hurt more. Okay, I'll have to post that in the second video series of American regretting their votes. So tell me, is there any particular reason that actually has make you very angry with the Trump or the current administration and you're actually regretting their votes?